Um, I gotta fix this display, y'all. It's doing something weird. But we have a show for you today. Um, just again about preparedness. So, do you want to start, babe?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, before we get started, we know this is a holiday week, so happy holidays to you and your family.
Hmm.
May you all continue to be blessed and to walk in wisdom and to walk in the favor of the Most High Holy One.
Yes, yes, indeed. And also for my people out there, the Ohio State University, it is Ohio State Michigan week. So,
Boy.
that's a big deal out here in Ohio State country. So, go Buckeyes. But like she said, we do have a good show. We want to talk about a couple different things going on that we've been coming across some different articles and some things that seem to be important. Not anything we haven't talked about before, but things that we may want to just reiterate and drill down a little bit more on. So I'll let you start with your portion, and we'll roll with it.
So, a few shows back, I had mentioned to you that they had forecasted, that's what I'm looking for, they have forecasted a famine for 2023. And we haven't seen it yet, which means they're still working on creating the famine, right? Let's be honest. Um, we had ran down some stats and stuff like that for you in that show. I can't remember the name of the show. It's like 3 shows back, y'all, but I know that you guys can find it. So since the famine hasn't come in 2023, we definitely want to look for it in 2024. We definitely want to be prepared. Um, the first thing that I want to share, and most of these links I did put in the description, um, because it is a rabbit hole, right? And if I if I send you guys sometimes to start looking for stuff, it's good that you find other things, but sometimes it's just so many things that I don't want to get you tumbling down the rabbit hole. So I do want to share with you when we talk about the famine, and I make statements like they've been working on it.
Hmm.
um, there's been a significant number of food facilities that have been mysteriously been burning down, right? Fires are not a rare occurrence. My husband is a firefighter. It is a lot more difficult than y'all think it is for stuff to catch on fire. It's just that once the fire get going, then it consumes everything in its path. But this article it's a little bit older, but they're telling you in this article that as far as food processing plants in the country goes, in 2019, 5,300 food processing plants have burnt down. That's 15, on average, 15 food processing plants in a day. Additionally, more than 2,000 fires occurred in agricultural, grain, and livestock and refrigerated storage facilities, which includes all food processing operations, right? I'm giving you a number from 2019. We've had a significant amount more. They have been scrubbing the net because the initial, hi, Andrew Cunningham. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. Um, there have been significantly more. I had the original article that listed all of the food processing facilities. I cannot find it now. I'm not able to access it. So just understand what we mean, despite the fact checkers telling you that that's not true. Like, let's be honest, we're hitting large volumes of food processing plants in addition to supply chain issues, in addition to budgeting issues, in addition to all of the other elements that are involved in the food creation for the United States. There's a lot of agendas that they're trying to push simultaneously. And let's be honest, they are against the human body. Okay. Did you want to say anything before I move on?
Mm. Like, that's pretty good. Like she said, we can't find that exact article. It had the
It's
numbers. It was very detailed.
it was very detailed, and I had
Um,
wanted to share it, but then when I went back, I was no longer able to access
mhm.
the site. Um, I just want to mention Maricopa Food Pantry in Arizona lost 50,000 pounds worth of meat and food in a fire that started 15 minutes after the bank closed. The food bank closed. Like I said, the article has like snippets of stuff. There's been accidents at more than 20 food plants and warehouses across the United States and Canada within the last 4 months. Again, this was in 2022. A lot of the other food-related incidents have been scrubbed from the internet, but we do not believe in coincidences. And that being said, I do want to share with you guys, and I don't know if you know this, but Bill Gates, who is a huge proponent of depopulation, owns 269,000 acres of farmland across 18 states. And that's more than the entire acreage of New York City. Okay, the farmland was purchased through a constellation of companies that all link back to the couple's investment group, et cetera, et cetera. So their land holdings range from 70,000 acres in North Louisiana, where they grow soybeans, corn, cotton, rice, 20,000 acres in Nebraska, where they grow soybeans. Again, you're seeing soybeans. They bought and later sold an additional 6,000 in Georgia. There's another 14,000 that includes potato fields so massive they're visible from space. Many of them process the French fries from McDonald's. So I guess it is no surprise that McDonald's is giving away free French fries every Friday from now until the end of the year. The question is why? So when I tell you that he's a huge proponent of depopulation, you have to ask, well, why do you own so much farmland in the food sector, in the food industry, right? You have to put the two and two together. Now, years ago, conspiracy theorists people thought they were lunatics and stuff like that. And now we understand that it is absolutely a conspiracy, right? The theory is in the hypothesis of it all. We know it's true. So they are conspiring against us as people.
Yeah.
Andrew Cunningham said in Australia, they now are injecting livestock, sheep and pigs with mRNA poisoning. Yes, they are trying to change the DNA. That's a whole nother show for a whole nother day.
Yes, it is.
We are doing our best to stick to economics because that's what the channel is about. Simon is going to remind y'all 1,000 times today to continue stacking, continue dollar cost averaging.
Yes, indeed.
Your Bitcoin. Atlanta Black Wall Street, hi, thank you so much for joining us. We always love when you attend.
And like she said, we're going to talk about stacking your Bitcoin, your sats, stacking your ounces of gold and silver. I forgot to mention at the beginning, we were supposed to do this show maybe about a week ago. So I had some research up. So it may be a little bit dated, but
before you go, I just we're going to give you guys some events, and then we're going to string all of the events together to show you the cause and effect, domino effect that it will have upon your personal households, upon our personal households. If you know, hey, how you doing? It's going great. Thank you so much for joining. All right, sweetheart.
Yeah, so I wanted to just say for Bitcoin, I was looking at it, up over, I had it the day that I researched, this is up 126% on the year, right? And so if you compare that to what a lot of people like to have in their investment portfolio, typically FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, far outperforming those stocks. And this is, Bitcoin is not a stock, we all know that, but it is a place where you can keep value, keep purchasing power, as is with precious metals. So we always want to stay on top of, how far we have come, because too often people in the Bitcoin and crypto space, everybody wants 10 bagger, 50 bagger, 100 bagger and stuff. And people are disappointed with just 100% gain, when really 100% gain is incredible, right? It is incredible to have those type of gains. So we just want to stay vigilant in our stacking, even if it's a little bit, just a little bit, few satoshis, few ounces. Stay vigilant. Stay vigilant, especially with all these things going on. She has some more things to talk about. Are we getting into the World Economic Forum today, or that's
no, not today. Okay. Only because I'm waiting for stuff to gestate, y'all.
Okay, all right, but yeah, so she's gonna paint a whole picture, and then I'll come back with some more research that I had.
But yeah, you go with yours first, because then I can loop mine into yours.
Okay, so you want to go? So well, then we're gonna pivot here. So this is the holiday season. And typically during the holiday season, you will see a lot of spending, right? Is that not true?
Yes.
You had a stat earlier about spending up how much percent this holiday season, you
I
believe?
thought they said 3.4. That link is in there.
Okay.
I gotta find the article here. But they said the GDP went up.
GDP went up. Interesting.
4.9, I'm sorry, 4.9%. And this article is from, I believe, October. So
So in this holiday season of spending, and we've talked about this, it isn't really a great season to be spending. Conversely, what you are seeing here are massive layoffs.
yes.
And so let's just go over a few of them. I mean, the list is very expansive, so I won't bore you to tears, but I will start with Citigroup. Now, Citigroup is laying off 300 management and C-suite level
Wow.
employees. Okay, and this is coming from their new CEO, Jane Fraser. And this is a restructuring that they're going to have at Citigroup. And this year, Citigroup laid off people last year as well. This year, though, it is more than just tech and marketing. Right now, we're actually getting into some of the people in finance and
Yes.
banking side are being laid off, and also like the C-suite, the higher level management.
Yes.
And so that we start there with Citigroup, a very, very large bank, very large bank. And so you don't expect to see that. But, in this restructuring, you see this a lot in companies right now in the end of Q4, going into Q1 of the new year. So I'll read over a few. Amazon is letting go 180 people in its gaming division. Charles Schwab is letting go 5 to 6% of its staff, of its outright staff. Very large company like Charles Schwab.
Yeah. Finance again.
Finance again, insurance. Slack is letting go. I'm sorry, Stack Overflow is letting go 28%.
It's tech, right?
Yeah, that's tech. So you see these companies letting go just large amounts of their workforce. You see Morgan Stanley is letting go over 30% of their workforce. And that's what finance once again. And this is happening all over. Roku's letting go 10%. And we can go on. And these are Farmers Insurance is letting go 2,400 employees. And that's why I say it's not a great time and season to be spending excessively.
No.
And as you see these coming at the end of the year, at the holiday season, this is, going into Q1, restructuring, trying to get the balance the sheet and get everything going. These are large companies. These just aren't small. T-Mobile is cutting 5,000 jobs globally. So these are jobs that are just going away, yet you keep getting these positive job outlooks, which is confusing to me. It's a head scratch.
And I'm going to read that to you in a little bit, but we're trying to set up the narrative so that you can wade through the trash, right? And really get to the truth so that your strategic plans are accurate for your personal household.
I mean, we go on and on. CVS is letting off 5,000 jobs. And these are jobs, for the people in the community. Some of the jobs are high end, like you said, Morgan Stanley, Farmers and stuff like that. Robinhood is letting 7% of its workforce go. And, this just goes on and on. Ford are laying off people. And, it's going to be a tough time, with these layoffs, people losing their employment, their income, added on with this famine that is coming. It's sure to come. And not to say that it isn't already there, because you still see shortages in these stores, right? You see shortages, you see these, what do you see? You see a disruption in the
supply chain.
So people, things that they need, right? The basic things you need, food, water, stuff like that. And you got to stock up on this stuff. That's why we're big on stocking up, especially water, best as you can on non-perishable items and things like that, because we don't know when it's actually going to kick in. Right. 100%. And if not with the food shortages, which you will see is scarcity. And scarcity of the food and water will raise prices. And I'm sure you all have already seen this. As you go out shopping, just noticing prices going up and up and up. We've noticed it here in Mexico. We go out, things that was one price one day, now it's another price, right? And it's like, wow. And it may only be a few here pesos, if you will.
But when you do the percentage, it's significant.
Yeah, now it's a 15% increase. When it was like, but that's only 3 pesos, no big deal. No, it's the percentage of increase.
Mhm.
And then, people, I mean, like she says, it weaves into a whole thing because now they have this fake CPI number out there when, inflation is, I say 20%. Some people
Mhm.
say 25, pushing 30. And people don't get cost of living average.
You don't get the
No.
increase in your
Who
pay.
gets that? Who gets a
Right.
20% raise? Very rarely. People getting what, 3 to 5% raise?
Right.
And then your raises can't keep up with the cost of living and the inflation. So you just continuously get behind and behind and behind. And so it's something that you have to be prepared for, um, you know, long term, right? You got to be seeing this long term. That's why we say good things to keep your spending power, purchasing power in things like precious metals.
Right.
Where that way, if you put a certain amount away, it will have that purchasing power years down the road instead of, losing your purchasing power. As you see the dollar losing value, the dollar is having problems. If you look at it chart wise, at the 200-day moving average, which is a little bit more technical, and we didn't really want to go that direction. I just mentioned that. But so the dollar's struggling. Other currencies are strengthening against the dollar. It's a lot going on. It is a lot going on, and so we'll try to keep you up on as much of it as we can and tie this together. But yeah, that's the layoffs, and the list goes on and on. So I'll let you go ahead and tie it together and see what we can get.
Hi, KW1. Thank you so much for joining us, love. We're always happy when you join the platform
K-Dub.
and offer your insight and your thoughts.
Mhm.
So that article, which is in the link, I think it says
And it's
it's
from
Business Insider.
Business
More than
Insider.
2,800 stores are closing across the U.S. in 2023. Here's the full list. A lot of those stores are retail. We talked about the finance industry, tech's taking a hard hit,
Yes.
especially in restructuring. And here are our thoughts. One, you want to understand this game of chess that's being played against you, right? The world is not your friend. So you want to understand the game that's being played, right? And one of the things is the book of Haggai, right? It's a minor prophet in your Bible. One of the themes of it is consider your ways, right? Even though the influence of the world tells you to do this, do that, do the third, consider your own ways. And we've talked about this in a few shows. And one of the things you want to consider is in your own household, is it possible that you are over-consuming? Is it possible that the things you think you need are actually things that you want and desire and maybe are of convenience?
Yes.
Are there alternatives? This is really, when we talk about critical thinking, this is the time to really kick that critical thinking into effect. Can I bake a cake cheaper than I can buy? I don't even know if Entenmann still sells cakes, but I'm gonna use it. Showing my age. Cheaper than A, what the Entenmann's cake offers, and B, the ingredients that are in it. The reason why I sprinkle that whole Bill Gates thing in there is because for people who love to eat out, a lot of Bill Gates' food goes towards, not that he's not in the supermarket, because he is. A lot of his food processing goes towards fast food. And I want to drive the point home that the man is a cheerleader. He's a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader for depopulation, right? They have a disdain for humans. They hate us. Let us be honest. Don't care how flowery they put it. It's for, like, how much more resources do y'all need that we, the people, are a drain on your resources? So you always want to have that critical kind of thought to considering your ways, right? Is it cheaper, or is it better, a better quality for me to blend my own drinks for the house, right? To maybe buy a pineapple, add water, add a little bit of raw sugar, not refined sugar, in order to make a drink instead of buying a name brand drink on the shelf that has a whole bunch of bioengineered stuff in it that we don't understand anyway, right? So not only is it cheaper, but it's also better quality for me and my family. For people who are single, I understand single people tell us all the time, it's hard for them to cook.
Yeah.
right? It's easier for them to eat out and stuff like that, but consider your ways. Is it more economical for you to learn how to cook and to cook for yourself, knowing what ingredients is going into your food and going into your body so that you can think, you can strategize, you're not being controlled by the television, by ads, by your phone, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
And we're not lecturing, we're just telling you what our thoughts are on this thing because, as Andrew Cunningham said, they use, and I added that article in there for you, using starvation as a way to mass control people is a wartime strategic
That's a wartime tactic.
weapon,
Yep.
tactic. That's what I
Yep.
was looking
Yes,
for.
it
It's a
is.
weapon. It is a weapon of war. So I want you to read that article that I have in there talking about what they're currently doing. But it's something that they've always done. But when I'm talking to you about the famine, the supply chain breakdown, right? Now what you're doing is you have all of these companies that are filing Chapter 11, Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The retail sector is really dying,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost a buffalo, really, at
Right.
this point. While it was something that had an enormous amount of utility, like a real actual buffalo, it is now almost extinct,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because a lot of people can get whatever they need online instead of the physical
Physical stores.
experience. Two, I want to explain from an economic standpoint. Understand that we have the plants being burnt down. We now have breaks in the supply chain, if not from layoffs, that the stuff can't be made because there's no food processing facility. Those people got their insurance payouts. So it doesn't affect them as much as it has a domino effect on the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Three, we did a show detailing out all of the money that is leaving the geographical border of the United States to service other countries that we are currently engaged in war in. Let me say that again. The money is leaving the borders to go into these other states, to go into these other countries in order to fund these wars. They are going to profit on both sides of that war, but the United States is going to struggle, right? You have all of these people who are laid off. There is no extra money in the pool to sustain those people who are being laid off. It's specific industries that are being laid off, but when you look at the collective pool of people who are laid off, they are used to physical jobs and don't necessarily have the skills to go into the jobs that have high paying salaries that work from home.
Okay, let me just jump in right there.
Thank you.
So when she's named, I like when she said that because what you see there is you see people getting aged out the job market faster than they used to.
Or skilled.
Skilled, right? Because back, you could work to what, 65, 67, get your retirement. Now, no, you get aged out a lot earlier. Like she said, if you have a job, physical labor type of job, you get
Yes.
laid off and there's no positions available. Yes, there's a lot of positions available, work from home, technology developers, so on and so forth. But if you're not qualified for that job, then you cannot have it, right?
Right. And then there's really no welfare.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't like to use the word welfare, but y'all understand there's
Assistance.
no assistance, there's no supplemental assistance to help you because that money is being taken from here and going to other parties. Right? So I'm showing you the domino effect on how the current ballot box, right? Y'all follow where I'm going so we don't get the video taken down. The current ballot box is really imploding the United States almost from within.
Like that. And I wanted to say something that you mentioned earlier. I just wanted to say this to remind people when you talked about depopulation.
Yes.
So we've already made it clear, and it's out there, that the Western world is below replacement as
Yes.
far as birth rate.
Yes.
So all that means is they're dying faster than they're being born. And that's important because you need people to replace.
And that's not happening.
That's not happening. So if you look at the data, depopulation is already in the books because of below replacement status. Now, the real question is when you say depopulation, who are they really aiming it at though? Who's
Oh, they're
not?
absolutely aiming it at us.
Who's not below replacement?
Right. They're
That's right.
aiming it at us in the brown community.
Yeah.
Alternative lifestyles, right? Alternative lifestyles from a governmental aspect
Mm-hmm.
is lauded because of its depopulation aspect to it, right?
Mhm.
We're not here to knock anybody. We're here to tell y'all the truth, and that's just what it is. That is the effect of that particular cause. So, three,
And I'm sorry,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna stay on this below replacement. We just now seen another story in Italy again. This is the third time we've seen this story where they're offering people incentives to come over there and help repopulate their community.
Their community.
And that's, you see it on a small scale first, right? On small communities, 2,500, 3,000, 10,000. You'll see this process of where there's not enough young people to fill in. You have communities that have more elderly and more small children than enough people to fill in and repopulate the jobs and the things that are needed to take care of the everyday community. And that's what they want. That's why they give this age range. And the last one I seen was it was 21 to 40, something like that. It was right in that age range. They want those people to come in, help build the community back up. And it'll eventually spread to larger and larger and larger cities because you have to have people to come in and take these jobs over that people leave, retire, can no longer do. And I'm not talking about the fancy jobs. I'm talking about, right, the blue collar jobs.
Yes, that's what we are talking about.
Talking about the blue collar. You need new garbage men, sanitation workers. It's not a glamorous job. Nobody grows up saying, "Man, I want to be a sanitation worker," but it's needed. It's necessary in the community, right? And we should be grateful and thank these people who do these jobs. Remember, I don't know if you guys are familiar. There used to be a show called Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe, and he would go around and he would show you all the dirty jobs in America that people had to do. And you'd be like, man, I would never want that job. But those jobs were essential to keep the country moving. So that's why below replacement is very dangerous because you won't have the people to come back in and build back up the community.
Okay, so follow me, y'all, right? So we talked about the food processing, the facilities burning down. We're talking about the mass layoffs. I just want to show you something. Food is one of those things people will spend money on, right? So now that's hindered in a sense, right? You have people who are laid off. So they're going to be holding on to their money. It's a significant pool of people. Once you start going through that article, you guys, that we provided for you, and there's additional articles on the net, so please continue doing your research. They're going to be holding on to their money because there's a financial uncertainty in their lives. So what else does that affect? It affects their spending on food, again. We're looking at ride sharing, right? These people physically got up, the majority of the people on this list physically got up and went to a physical destination. So that affects Uber, Lyft, Didi. I don't know what other ride shares y'all have in y'all markets, but so that's now affecting that sector. All of those people who got laid off are going to be competing for those type of jobs, right? Because you don't necessarily have to learn a new skill if these people don't have the skills in order to compete for the jobs that are available, right? So that hurts that industry now because, again, you have the consumption in travel, you have the consumption in food, which isn't there. All right, so let's push that to the side now. Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming, right? And the idea is this is not the time to spend extra money. This is the time that if you have a surplus, that surplus needs to be in your own storehouse, in your own home, okay? When I talk about the influence of the world, these are man-made holidays. Jesus Christ was not born on December 25th. If we all know that, we don't need to buy into their ops in order to force you psychologically to spend money, to shame you into spending money, right? These aren't even real natural holy days. Not enough, hi Cryptonomics, there's not enough surplus in order to go around, right? Go ahead, baby.
Oh, and what's about to go down this Friday.
It's Black Friday.
You know what people are gonna be out doing. You already know they're gonna be right after Thanksgiving, lined up around these stores, camping out.
But not like they used to be
Right.
because of the layoffs. I work in tech. Our company has already talked about restructuring in January. So a lot of people who are getting that same kind of, hey, we're going to be restructuring. We don't know if your business unit's going to be affected and so on and so forth. You're not going to be so quick to drop 1,000 on stuff that you don't necessarily need in your household. Remember the book of Haggai, consider your ways. Consider what it is that you actually need versus the things that you want or desire. We have to come away from the world's ideology of you only live once. No, you only die once. You live every day, right? So let's just cut that out. You live every single day. You only die one time. And the idea that you deserve it, the self-love and stuff, there is a limit and a level to that. And the question is, what do I actually need in this particular season? This is a season of famine, right? So just like we talked about in the Bible, you have the 7 years of abundance and the 7 years of famine. Because they were wise in the 7 years of abundance, they were able to store up, store up, store up. So when the famine came, they did not feel the effects of it. And this is what we're talking about. We're a large family, right? There's 6 of us. So us being strategic in every single thing that we do is basically the utmost critical mission that we have as a family.
Yes, and then I mean, not to make light of it, we have 4 sons, 2 of them who are basically grown.
Yes.
They eat us out of house and home.
They used to always complain about how much
So
they eat.
they eat a whole, they eat all the time, right?
Yes.
Because as they do all day, they eat, they eat, they eat, right? I'm probably the biggest person in the family, household, physically, stature, and I eat the least. I got a little 6-year-old, he eats more than me.
Yeah, he eats
So
that.
yeah, they eat. He eats my stuff, he eats my food, and all that. So like she said, you have to be very strategic in what you're buying, how you ration out the food.
And
all
we're
that stuff.
talking about necessities, right? We're not even talking about, some of the supplemental things that you need,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't necessarily call it a necessity. Anyway, so after we've told you all of these things, I want to read to you the routers report that they put out. And this is what I mean when I say y'all receipts don't match our receipts. So this was from October 26, Routers. It says the U.S. economy grew 5% in the third quarter, defying dire warnings of a recession as higher wages from a tight labor market. Now, they do admit that the labor market is tight, so I'm glad about that. There's a little bit of truth in here. Helped to fuel consumer spending, and businesses restocked at a brisk clip to meet strong demand. Obviously government spending is always up, so I don't have to explain that to you because they use a magical checkbook. But it says the report also showed underlying inflation subsiding considerably last quarter. Did any of you in your household see inflation subside? I did not. And I'm in a different country where the inflation isn't even as high. Most economists have revised their forecasts and now believe that the Fed can engineer a soft landing for the economy, citing expectations that the July-September period will show a continuation of second quarter strength in worker productivity and moderation and unit labor costs. And when Simon and I sit and read these articles, we're just kind of like, how, Sway? Like, where?
Yeah, it blown away a little bit. But it's why you got to do your due diligence so you can get to the bottom of this stuff. That's why we also like to lean on you all because you're in the United States and let us know what it is that you see on a daily basis in your community and things of that nature. Because we're really just taking off what we read and maybe some different things we see on social media. But we're not boots on the ground where we can actually see it and or feel what is going on there. So, anything that you have to interject, please let us know because we would like to know. We would like to know.
Cryptonomics said, I got a feeling she'd be running the household. So I do want to let you guys know this, right? And I've said this on multiple shows.
What does that mean?
This is my mentor, right? This is my master teacher. And I know it looks like I run these shows, but what it is he teaches me behind the scenes. I sit at his feet. I listen to everything he teaches me. And then he sends me out to go And let me see if you understand this. Let me see if you got this. I met my husband when I was 19 years old. He taught me how to manage a household. He taught me household strategy. He taught me how to properly pay the bills and have money left over. He was the first one to teach me pay yourself first. He was the first one to teach me dollar cost averaging. All of the things that I sit and I talk to you guys about, these are things I had to first learn from my husband. This is my master teacher. This is my mentor. This is the one who has really helped me grow as a woman, my life partner. So I don't want y'all to think like I be running. He sits quietly because he's like, I gave it to you. And I just want to make sure that you got it because men die before women. He wants to make sure that I have everything I need just in case he leaves me early in life.
Right. And I thank you for that. And just for the simple fact that she's prettier and more eloquent, so we let her go with it. But I'm here in the background in case, any clarification.
Yes, like right. And he does. He told me after the show,
Yeah, I'm
you
in the
said
cut.
this, you meant to say that. So we are, he belongs to God, I belong to him, the kids belong to me. So we do follow a godly hierarchy just to kind of clear things up for you cryptonomics. Friendly P killer. I don't want to say it and then get the whole channel taken down.
Okay.
He said, calling Biden a good president is like calling Jeffrey Dahmer a heterosexual vegetarian.
There we go.
That is a very, very, very descriptive way to describe what is happening now. Cryptonomics said the best way to lie is to hide dollars and percents. Yes, but it's also a way to, I think, when they put those reports out, they manipulate the data in a sense, and that's why I said what they say doesn't match what is actually happening. The biggest smoke and mirror game ever played, and they do it with the GDP all the time. Absolutely, and that's why I wanted to bring that up. Work your dream, MD. That's good, man. Hyben 17, you need to talk to my wife. She doesn't understand or want to understand anything about finances. I had went through that period, Hyben. I'm gonna be honest with you. Hubby's been doing this for a long time, and it just kind of seemed boring to us. Well, us as women, I'm saying, and I'm not speaking for every woman, so please, women, don't jump on me. But what my husband did is he found a way to kind of appeal to, I think, my personality and curiosity. And just like how we sit and we put all this stuff together to show you the domino effect, that's really what he does for me. So all I'm doing is taking what I've learned from him, taking what he's already mastered it. So I'm in the process of trying to master it. And the best way to learn is to teach.
Mhm.
And that's really what he's doing when he sits next to me doing the show. This is his show, right? And it's
Well,
his
I
show
wouldn't say
because
that.
the heart of it is all of this. I'm just now learning. And basically, this is like my way of just reiterating the stuff that you teach me behind closed doors and
Yeah,
stuff like
and
that.
also, I'm sorry I didn't catch the name as you
Hyben,
spoke as you
17?
spoke of your wife, but not a lot of women in finance and economics,
Mm-mm.
right? So if you could find more people who look like you, it gives you a little bit more interest. Like maybe I can listen to her, right? You see finance economics is real dry, boring. The men who teach it and do it, they kind of look the same way, right? Kind of sound the
Yeah.
same way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find different people who you can that appeal to you,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe you could kind of listen to it better, So there, and recently there are a lot more women out here on
Oh, a lot more now.
social
Yeah.
media.
And
Who,
it's not a lot, right? It's just a lot more.
it's more, yeah, it's more so that maybe if you direct her towards some of those people with something more in common, then she can soak it in a little bit. It is boring. I can't lie to you. It's
I
boring.
will say this too. One of the ways he really appealed to me into learning is when he was watching his lectures and stuff. Like, let's do this together, right? I'm gonna make you a nice sandwich or something. I'll make you lunch, and it's an activity that we can do together.
Yeah.
So he appealed to my want to spend time with him. And this is a way we can get to know each other better. It's a better way for us to raise the kids, a better way for us to run the house. You'll have a little bit more money to spend. And then after a while, I started to consider my ways and realize that I don't need to have this thing that doesn't appreciate and value. I don't like your mindset is renewed. So Hyben, you may want to try that and see if that's something that would work for your household, and anybody else online that may work for your household. But he did appeal for my desire to spend more time with him and kind of do things that he's interested in as well. But back to the agenda,
Uh-oh.
right? So I read to you the smoke and mirrors that cryptonomics talked about with the GDP, right? And when you're not digging into those other smaller articles, you will miss that and you will think like, oh, we're good, right? They said we was gonna have a recession, but this report say in the third quarter we stronger than ever. And yep, just keep trying at it, Hyben, right? Marriage is for a lifetime. At some point you'll get there. So don't be not weary in your well-doing with your wife. Okay, so here's what I want to read. This is 2023. After an expensive 2023, 52% of Americans are staying home for the holidays, which means that, again, we are now, I talked to y'all about that travel sector, right? You're going to be holding on to your dollars. You're not going to be using Lyft. You're not going to be using Didi. You're not going to be flying. A lot of people are not going to be doing the typical things that they do this time of year, which means that dollar is not circulating in the local economy. That's one. Two, the dollars that are there are being flushed out of our economy and into other economies, right? You guys can read that article for yourself. I just wanted to kind of bring to you, that's over half of Americans who are saying that we are tightening our belts and we're not participating in typical holiday behavior. The holidays is the time of the year where people spend the most money. Outside of the holidays, it is tax season where people spend the most money, right? And this is good because we know tax season starts January 31st. Currently, it is Wednesday, November 22nd, 2023, in the year of our Lord and Savior. So understand that now you want to say in November, I want to develop a plan for my tax return. I want to develop a plan for any revenue, for any surplus of funds that I may find in my budget. I want to develop a plan for now. Because when you have a plan for money, people typically stick to that plan. Money gets spent and squandered is the word that I want to use because people typically don't have a plan for the money. They, A, didn't expect a surplus. A lot of them don't, right? And B, when they get the surplus, they're like, oh, you know what? I want this, I want this, I want that, I want that. And then there is that impetuous spending that takes place.
That old saying, money's burning a hole in your pocket. Right?
Like our kids.
Like kids, you give kids $20 and they gotta go spend it today. I said, nah, you can sit on it. You don't need nothing today.
Have a plan for it.
Have a plan for it. Our oldest son, he's very good at squirreling away money. And so then
he's really good.
And then he'll pop up with something. And I'm like, where you get some money from?
He's been holding on to it.
Yeah, but he's been squirreling it away, and I'm good. I'm glad.
And he secretly develops a plan for the money, and this is what we're saying. So when we understand the psychology behind things, when we understand the agenda formed against us, when we understand our own agendas, then we can move more strategically, right? So you always want to have this one here. Let me tell y'all, not a dollar come through the household that he doesn't have a plan or a budget for, right? And just as his helpmate, I typically ask, y'all women, don't get on me. Do not get on me. I ask permission, like, hey, this is something that I would like to have. What does our budget look like? So on and so forth. Even though we are blessed, it's still important that as team members, we stay on the same page, right? KW1, I miss them and I've gotten way better, but I still buy a piece of something here. So do I, right? We're human. We're human and we're women. And for some reason, that's encoded in our DNA and I don't know why. But for the most part, I am very good about working the game plan that my teammate, he's the captain of the team, that captain of the team come up with, and he loves his wife. He wants his wife to be happy. So if it's something that we can do and is not a big deal, he'd be like, go ahead and do it, babe, whatever you want. But as families, we got to stay on the same page and we can't fight each other over consumption. Consider your ways, the book of Haggai. Hi, Bam. Happy birthday, Bam.
What's up, Bam?
I'm gonna have the
Solar
boys call you
return.
later and sing Black Happy Birthday to you.
Happy solar return.
KW wants to, I don't know why either. It's because we women. It's just in our
Well,
DNA.
you know, and when they go out, and, I mean, you know, when you go look at the numbers as they break it down, women 75 to 80%
Of the consumers.
consumers,
Yeah.
right? So when you know that, they also will market to women more than they market
They
to
always
men,
do. Mhm.
right? You see, I don't watch TV, but every now and then I'll go down and watch some TV with the kids, and I see commercials. So I don't see commercials much, and I'm like, wow, they're really going after this group, or they're really
Mhm.
going after this group right here. And when you sit and watch the football game, you know they got all this stuff.
The
And
food,
the
though,
food
like
is
the
really
food
it's hard.
consumption is, it's hard and heavy, and we live in what West Indians like to call the bush, right? So we don't have a lot of choice here. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, when Simon and I go to the supermarket, it's called Soriana, it's a large chain in Mexico. When we go to the supermarket here, there's two barbecue sauces, one by Heinz and one by, I don't even know what the other company is.
Kraft.
It's Kraft?
Yeah.
We got two barbecue sauces. We have two ketchups, one name brand, one not name brand. Like, there's not a lot of choice here, so it helps us a little bit to fight that consumption. Um, Two, we're not in the airspace.
And
So we don't get marketed to and broadcasted to
uh,
where that influence is heavy and hard on us. And it gives us the time to think. That's why we say, if you have the budget and ability to go on what we call a sabbatical, not vacation where you're going to get lit and turn up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you're setting these 3 to 5 days away in another place so that you can read, relax, recuperate, renew your mind, right? All of the essential R's in your life.
journaling is a big deal.
He journal in his head though. He say that I'm the
Yeah.
one who do the physical.
It's a big deal. Like if you go out, you have experiences or
Mhm.
things that you've never done before or seen before.
Or use your social media as your electronic journal.
Yeah, it's always good to journal. You know, I watch people on social media who journal a lot, and I find it very interesting. You know, the places they go, the activities they have, and experiences that they have.
Okay, so in addition to us talking about 52% of people holding on to their money, I want to read this next article to you. It says the holiday retail sales are likely to increase despite the tightening of the belt,
Mhm.
between 3.5 and 4.6% for the November-January timeframe, according to Deloitte's annual holiday retail forecast. Keep in mind, I want y'all to look at that list we sent y'all to see how many, I think Deloitte let go 4,000 people.
Yeah, Deloitte was on there.
Right? So this is ironic.
Mhm.
Deloitte also forecasts e-commerce sales to grow between 10.3 and 12.8. Why do they think e-commerce is going to grow? Because people are not physically going out. They're going to do it from the safety, the convenience of their home and their computers, their iPhones and stuff like that. But we don't do as the world does. If you have a surplus, look in your home and say, where does this surplus need to flow? Where does it need to, do we need, do you guys need clothes? Do you need devices for productivity? Right? My 13-year-old for his birthday wanted an iPhone. So you don't have a job and you don't do anything remotely productive. So whether it's a Samsung or iPhone or Hawaii or what have you shouldn't matter to you. And once we kind of explained that to him, he was like, oh, you know what? You're right. It does make sense, right? I just need a phone. You want to consider, what do you actually need,
Mhm.
right? Hubby and I run a business. We have Apple devices for a very specific reason.
Yep.
That's how we operate, and we get our money's worth from it. Um, do you need a heater for your home? Do you need to have some type of backup plan for if the grid does go down? Remember, I told you, I don't know how many of you are in Duke Energy's market
Service
share,
area, yeah.
service area. Thank you, sweetheart. Service area, I don't know how many of you live there, but Duke Energy laid off a significant amount of the workforce. Now, this is a skilled workforce.
Mhm.
That's trouble, right? So understand, if you have outages, your outages are gonna go out a little bit longer than usual. Do you have the things you need in your house to sustain you for longer outages? Hubby bought, it's in one of the kids' room. He bought, it's like a charger, and we used to have it for hurricane season. So you can charge your cell phone, you can jump a car with it. It has the three-prong outlet.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the kids went to basketball practice.
Yeah, it's in their
They
room.
use it to charge their phones. God love them. But it sustains charges over the course of like a week if you were without electricity.
Definitely got your flashlight.
Definitely have
Yep.
flashlights. People have been seeing a lot of military aircrafts in the air, especially during APEC. I don't know how many of you are familiar with APEC. It is the Asian Pacific Economic Coalition, I think it stands for. And that happened last week, conference.
Conference.
And that happened last week in California. So there was a significant military presence in the state of California. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that. I also bring that up because your current administration welcomed, I cannot say the president's name,
Yeah, I got
Jin Jinping, I can't say it, but welcomed him with a smile and open arms. So understand that they're all in bed together. They are all working towards the same agenda, which is against us, the people. So we have to do what we can do to take care of ourselves, our own homes. And when we give you this information, yes, we ask y'all to like. When we ask y'all to share, that's not even for views. Share it with your family members so that they can come up with a strategic plan for their own households.
Yes, and one thing I wanted to add on about spending of the money is healthcare.
Oh, boy.
Because healthcare every year is getting more and more expensive. You see these outrageous copays.
And no one's getting healthier.
Right. All these copays, the amount they cost for prescription medication,
Yes.
procedures, and things like that, it can break you. It can break you. If you read, you dig into it, you see a lot of people go into bankruptcy because of medical costs, right? And it just takes one illness, one sickness.
Yeah, to really knock you down.
Anybody in your family.
Yeah,
To really
knock
just
you down.
put you way behind, and you'll be paying these bills. Sometimes it seems like into perpetuity. And, thank goodness for now, medical bills and things like that can't put liens on your homes
Yes.
and stuff.
Right. They
like
can be
that.
charged off.
They can be charged off, but until when?
And then lawsuits aren't filed and stuff as of
Right.
that.
So, for now, but yeah, healthcare is becoming very expensive. This is one of the good things about being in another country. You get some less expensive healthcare. What would you say on the quality? Is it?
I would say that the quality may not be, but I think it's because an insurance company isn't paying them, you're paying them out of pocket, that they have to be a lot more reasonable and honest. And right, like when you have health insurance, it's like, oh, let's get this workup, that workup, let's get this, let's get that. Because while you're paying a copay, it's not really coming out of your pocket. So they can really kind of rack up the charges, but they can't do that in this country, right? If we go to get a workup, we're paying cash for the workup. So a lot of times the doctors will only prescribe or request the workup that's absolutely required, right? They're not gonna, it's hard to grab the bag when you're paying out of pocket. I want to say peace be unto you, Deb and L. Dear Bit, hi Dear Bit, hi Lovey, happy Thanksgiving or happy holidays to you as well. For Sure Entertainment, he said she came to check on his land again. Not just his land. He's got a lot of land in New York and across the United States, believe it or not, because they hold a significant portion of our debt. That's a whole nother show for another day. Cryptonomics said healthcare is a scam. It can be, but it also has its utility. So everything has its utility. We don't want to knock everything completely. But like we said, because health insurance companies are in it with the providers and stuff like that, there is a way where they can start running up stuff in order to profit. If said home insurance is starting to get ridiculous. I don't know if you know.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
That's funny because that's your name, right? See what I did there? But in California, they are pulling out of the market, and that tells me that there's something coming.
Yeah.
That they're planning, that the home insurance companies are pulling out of the market. They're not offering new coverage. And it's actually very alarming and concerning when you see that.
It is. And so a lot of people say a lot of insurance is scammed, across the board. Like you said, it has its utility. People with chronic illnesses, there's a utility there, right, for health insurance.
Absolutely.
Because once you meet that copay, that deductible, I should say, then things can be taken care of. You see people with long-term illnesses, unfortunately, cancer and things like that. We've had elderly parents where these medical bills get up to seven figures.
Yeah.
So definitely needed it in that case.
Yep.
But for the people who are young and healthy, man, yeah, it feels like a ripoff. You gotta go over here, see the doctor, pay what, $150.
Whatever the copay is.
That
Yeah.
situation you told me about with your mother, her trying to get her glasses, and it's just like everybody was hitting her from every angle.
Yep.
And it's just like, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just to get a pair of glasses.
Yep.
So yeah, I know what you mean. It gets real dicey out there.
The other thing that we want to kind of bring to mind during this, I'm going to call it an economic season, right? So in this particular economic season, we're also looking at what's going on with the migrants, right? Because a significant portion of this already small pool of money that's available is being made available to them and not to you who's paying the money. I find that very interesting. So New York states that they are doing significant amount of budget cuts because of this migrant situation. And here is the domino effect or the cause and effect of that is that it's also going to affect sanitation. I'm a native New Yorker. So understand that when the money begins to affect sanitation and structural institutions, right? That's significant in an already overcrowded city that is infested with the largest rats you could ever see in your life and the different types of roaches that they have in New York City, right? And those things is pestilence. Those things bring disease, right? People are now sleeping outside. The homelessness is up as high as I don't know what. And in looking for that, Simon and I found a very interesting report. So we're talking about how tight the money is, right? And then I come across this, I put the link in there. It's from the National Association of State Budget Officers. I'm just going to read off. So 46 states were actually in a surplus after budgeting this year. How is that possible? So just so you know, the states, for whatever reason, they end their fiscal year on June 30th. So below is a sampling of revenues totaling from states that have published preliminary data. Arkansas had a surplus of 126.5 million. Connecticut, 745 million. Georgia had a 4.8 billion surplus. Say, hey, Aaron, where'd that surplus come from? Taxes. Came from you and I. Now, we don't live in those states, so they didn't get that money from me particularly. We are residents of the state of Florida, so obviously Florida is not on there. But there's a surplus of money, and then you start to say, well, the people in your state are struggling. Where's that surplus going? And then it's crickets, right? There's no answer. So we're looking at how the money that's coming from your economic labor, right? Let's make that very clear. It's coming from your economic labor. It's coming from our economic labor. And they are using it for whatever they feel like using it for, and it's not for you. So you as a household, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to whoever's willing to listen to you and tell them this is the economic season where we have an economic plan for ourselves. Right? You guys know that SNAP benefits are tightening up. Section 8 housing is harder to get. Can I think of any other assistance programs?
I don't know about like SSI, stuff like that.
SSI is going up. It's not going up much, but I would imagine that because they're digging into that pool of money for their agendas and stuff like that, that they're still handing it out. They'll just be more selective and tighten down who will be able to get it, like the newer people who will be able to get it. Cryptonomics said banks will decline by the end of first quarter 2024. When you say banks will decline, do you mean the consolidation of the Of the branches, is that what you mean? Cryptonomics, you might have missed it, but Simon had read at the very beginning of the live, uh, Citigroup, how much?
Oh, they're laying off 300 management positions.
Yeah, the C-suite positions. They
C-suite.
laid off 300 C-suite
Yeah,
positions. And
C-suite
you know,
restructuring.
Citigroup is some type of subsidiary of Citibank and a few other banks that are under their umbrella.
Mhm.
It said, I guess that surplus came from me. It came from all of us Atlanta Black Wall Street. So yes, the state of Georgia, they living it up right now. But I just want you to see
Oh, no.
the reports. So we were talking about healthcare, and a few shows ago, I explained to you guys that they are taking off over-the-counter medications that we know worked, right? It is our go-to when we don't feel well. Your NyQuils and your Robitussin and all of these other things that we've been using for years that we know works when we don't feel well. They're taking them off the counter, and what they're trying to do is when they take it off the counter, they're trying to force you into your PCP, primary care physician, in order to get what you know you probably didn't get the first time, and be able to start documenting if you are like a threat, like a, what's the word I'm looking for?
You
Like
mean like
a
high risk?
healthcare threat. Yeah, like a high
High
risk,
risk.
like you're not gonna get what they wanna give you, and you're not feeling well.
And they start raising your premiums and these things. Yeah, health insurance is it's an MFer, right?
Right. And then, you know, they like to cover everybody with the Obamacare who don't have insurance. And I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but if you don't have health insurance and you're not on Obamacare, they will penalize you tax wise, or Medicaid or Medicare or whatever like that. If you don't have something, they will penalize you tax wise. I don't know if you knew that, babes.
Yeah, I knew that. I didn't know if it had changed since he was out of
I have
office
not
or
seen
not.
it change, but you have to have something or else they will absolutely penalize you.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, right? To they want you fully engaged and participating in the system. And this is when we talk about Neely Fuller, you know, small clandestine
There you go.
groups of Black people coming out of the systems as much as possible, the areas of activity as much as possible, right? It's very difficult, even us in the crypto world, to come out of the finance
Yeah.
system because we need the fiat. The fiat is a utility. For those of us who have children, right? You still need the financial institutions in order to kind of get stuff done.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who like to go off the grid.
Yeah.
And, you know, and if you have it structured correctly, you know, you can get pretty close to all the way off the grid. I think the financial arm of the areas of activity is probably the hardest one to remove yourself from. Other things, education, politics, stuff like that, war, religion, sex, is a few more. Other than that, you can get out of those. But man, the financial system is really, really tough. You know, like I said, I see people out here off the grid who are bartering. So you know, but that's so far and few between to see people bartering, and that's, you know, but it's an option. You might see it more and more as time goes on. But yeah, you need that go between.
Hi, Chief. I sent you something. We were gonna go on the one day, and I didn't hear from you, so we didn't do it. But I just sent you, so hop on. I don't know if I sent it to the right.
Email.
No, I sent it to, I think, a group chat, but that's okay. So definitely hop on. Obamacare is rigged and just tax thieving and stuff. I am not, that's the one thing I'm not. I haven't really looked into it, Obamacare, so I'm not even sure on how it's different from Medicaid or
Sounds right.
Medicare or right. I know it was a huge like tax bill or something like that when it first came out, but I am very ignorant to Obamacare and how it works and stuff like that. If it's effective, I don't even know anybody on it.
No, I do not. But I will say that if you have an open mind, and I'm sure a lot of you do, when you get to some of these other places, these countries, nation states, there's like alternative healthcare, if you will, right? Where you use some more natural, you know, like natural types of healthcare, right? Different herbs and plants and things like that, where You don't necessarily have to deal with the pharmacy. Like for example, our doctor always gives us an alternative type
Oh
of
yeah,
drug.
it's hibiscus this time.
Hibiscus, sometimes pineapple. And she gives us these alternative things. Like instead of buying this drug, you could try this natural.
And I want you to do this for like 3 to 5 days
Yeah.
and just drink it all day long,
Mhm.
right? So we went yesterday and she said, oh, okay. So she pulls out her doctor pad. She writes hibiscus brewed for, what did she say? For 30 days?
Yeah.
She wants us to drink a liter of it every day for 30 days. So hibiscus, I don't know, West Indians on here would know it as sorrel.
What's Jamaica though?
But only Hispanics would know it as Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
That's Jamaica because it comes from the West Indies.
Yeah.
But in the West Indies, we just call it sorrel. So they tax people for 3 years not signing up for it. Oh, I didn't know that. So E. L. said that they taxed people for 3 years not signing up for it. He had to pay a penalty, and it's tax theft for real. Cryptonomics said, yeah, it's a red tea. It kind of tastes like a wine. We drink it cold over ice. In the West Indies, you can't drink it hot. It's probably better hot, but we drink it as like all day long. We just sit and we drink it. In the West Indies, I've been drinking sorrel since I was a little girl. Um, and for my other Guyanese people, Mabi, which is it's bitters, and it gets your blood black. You get your blood back alkaline. So yeah, we're supposed to be doing a liter of hibiscus every single day for 30 days, and then we'll do some blood work and stuff. Especially me with my seizures and stuff. It's good for my brain, stuff like that. But we wanted to just kind of like lay these things out for you. Again, the famine didn't come in 2023. Know that they are diligently working on it, honey, right? I do, no, we steep it hot and then put it over ice. Kind of like iced tea, cryptonomics. It's really, really good. And I always drink mine over ice. And drink a liter of it a day is what she said. And then she said it also is good for people who have urinary tract infections. She said it was good for people who have nasal issues.
Antioxidants and things.
Has
like that.
antioxidants, good for our skin. Our black don't crack, but what could it hurt, right? I'm waiting on the Chiefs to hop on. Is he having trouble? But the famine didn't come in 2023. Sure enough, they are working on it because it is one of their sustainable development goals. In order for them to solve this problem, they have to create the problem in the first place. We know that that's how they work. And we understand that poverty and famine are two of the sustainable development goals that they've been working towards solving. I definitely want y'all to read the articles about all of those facilities that mysteriously burnt down. And the fact checkers are going to go hard telling you it's coincidence, these things happen, yada, yada, yada. And we got to stop listening to their rhetoric and their BS, right? You guys talk so much because the reports are out there, the articles are out there, that after a while, the truth comes tumbling out little by little. Oh, you're making food? We figured you might be cooking, but let me tell y'all, Chief cooking, we all waiting for the Chief to come out with Grilling with Grisby, prepping food. I figured that's what you meant. I knew it was either prepping or cooking. But he's a great cook. Bam, whose birthday is today, he has organic chickens. Y'all really need to look into what he has going on. Which is really good for our community, right? Because it's not shot up with the mRNA, it's not shot up with the steroids. And it's just all the wise better for your system to consume, metabolize, and digest. We talked about the famine, we talked about healthcare, we talked about the economy this season, and we are looking for better days. We're just kind of getting prepared. I hate that these lives are now like kind of doom and gloom, but it's really a preparedness because, like I said, the world is lying to you. When I go on my Facebook feed looks like we are in the age of the Renaissance. Like there is prosperity all around. Everybody's gotten a 78% pay raise. Like that's what my Facebook feed looks like. And I'm always I guess, like, curious as to why it doesn't match up with the reality of what's absolutely out there. I'm confounded by it, to be honest. Um, Even when we look at some of these news reports and they tell you this and they tell you that, and then you look and it's like, yeah, well, at the same time, you guys went up 5% this quarter. You've laid off 43% of, the retail workforce. Just retail, just the industry of retail. I think it was 38%. I don't like misquoting numbers, but it's a big, huge number, and we're talking about the brick and mortar retail part of the industry, right? How many vendors can you have on Amazon? Where are those people gonna go? Is there enough unemployment insurance? According to the state surpluses, there should be enough state unemployment insurance for these people to sustain themselves for 6 to 12 to 18 months, right? Um, what is the job market going to look like in order to absorb all of those losses?
True.
There we go. Hi, Chief. Hello, hello. He's kind of frozen, y'all. Chief? It says no sound. Is that us?
You might have to unmute.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
I turned it on.
Well, yeah, the job market is going to be looking a little rough. And also for people out there, who have young ones, or if you are young, coming into a new job market, we give advice to our younger sons about getting jobs, but it's not like when we got jobs.
Right.
It's a
It's very
whole different
different.
animal out here. So you got to prepare them to coming into the job market, being prepared for what's going on out here. Knowing how to put together a resume, and even we go over with our children how to interview well, right? Because the interviews are different. I've watched them. I said, oh, interview isn't like it used to be when you go sit down with somebody, maybe 2, 3 different people, human resources. Now it's like a Zoom thing, right?
Yeah.
All kind of questions, everybody piping in, and it could be a little bit, it'll be a little bit daunting for a young man or a young woman. So we prepare them for things of that
Yeah.
nature for this new job market that they have to enter. And that's why we had mentioned way back about people who get forced out the job market a little early.
Yes.
It's hard for them to adjust to new job market.
Yes.
So people being aged out the job market at an earlier age is going to be problematic. We've already seen the problems of it, but it's going to be happening more and more. And so it's just something that you keep your eye on.
And while I didn't originally add this, I'm glad that Baby Cakes brought it up. But I've also been seeing a significant amount of school teachers on social media talking about how difficult this new generation is, how behind they are reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? So, like basic math, there we go, basic math, and understand that the education system is a system and it's not designed to really help you, right? If you can get out of it what you need to get out of it, absolutely do that. But I think it's imperative that for parents who have children, that you don't make it the school's responsibility to educate your child. Like that's really your responsibility. Sit down. What are you learning? Read to me. Tell me. Show me where your comprehension is. We know that these children are born into the collective consciousness of technology, so that they have down. But what does your reading comprehension look like? When you read this article, are you able to understand not only what it's saying, but what it implies, what it infers? Little things like that. Y'all know we pulled our kids out of that system long time, honey, because I ain't gonna let y'all program them for your agenda when they need to be cultivated and raised and nurtured for their own purpose, self-fulfilling purpose, self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense of that. So, Chief, are you frozen again? Yeah. No? Okay, you're moving. Say something. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing? No. I don't know why he doesn't have any audio. Okay, try again. He changed browsers. I don't know what's going on with this restream.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get people.
All right, try it one more time, Chief.
There you go.
Nope, he logged off.
Okay.
But that is about it. Again, if you guys, we're not saying don't celebrate the holidays. We are saying to absolutely have a strategy, have a plan, have a budget in place, right? We're going to do Thanksgiving. We're not spending more than X number of dollars. Thank you. We're not spending more than X number of dollars. This is what we'll be consuming for Christmas holidays. This is the list. Try to buy people things. If you're going to buy a gift, the best gift is to give somebody something they actually need.
Yeah.
Right? Bitcoin's a great gift. Silver is absolutely a great gift, right? And it's not that easy for them to unload or to get rid of,
Yeah.
right? So it's something that can absolutely like increase in its appreciation, both, intrinsic appreciation and economic appreciation. I'm going to see if Grizz is going to come on one more time to see if he's going to, that is a good gift. Oh, yeah. And AppMex to get your gift there in like 2 business days, Cryptonomics. And if anything happens to it, we did have where the mail lady thought she was slick, thought she was going to keep it. And they were on top of her, honey. We got it back the very next day. But the insurance and everything works out very quickly. They give you a great dashboard so that you can see the appreciation and your portfolio. Miles Franklin, if you contact Miles Franklin and you tell them that Aaron or Gordon sent you, you get a discount on your item. They will walk you through what your precious metals journey, what you want it to look like, how to get started, where you should start. Oh, you use JM Bullion? I think you did that once, didn't you, babes?
I have an account with them.
Yeah, baby got a account with Jane Bullion, but
They give you a,
y'all know Andy Scheckman is a good friend of Simon's,
they give
so
a veterans discount.
Jane Bullion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
Cryptonomics. If you're a veteran, let them know that
Yeah.
because you get a discount.
Veterans discount, so.
But yeah, those are great gifts in order to just kind of help with things. But y'all enjoy. It doesn't look like the chief is coming on. I don't know what was going on with the audio. But y'all have a great holiday. Take a look at those articles that we sent you. We always appreciate articles. If you guys come across stuff, y'all know my email is on here. Send it to me. Say, hey, I want you to look at this or watch this video and see if, there's something you guys want to talk about on the show, whatever. I am still watching the World Economic Forum. Stuff's gestating. That beast is working, roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. And we're also looking, believe it or not, I'm watching the APEC thing. The what initiative? Belt Road Initiative?
Belt Road Initiative, which is very, yeah, so that's very intricate. We could probably do a whole show. I mentioned
need
it
to.
a show or two.
We can do it
ago.
next because they're
Yeah.
making progress. I just saw an
Okay.
article about it. I didn't get a chance to read it though. So we'll definitely be looking at the Belt Road Initiative. All of these initiatives, all of these agendas are basically showing you that Rome is burning, right? United States. Their time as an empire is up. And unfortunately, it's going to come at the expense of the citizens within the federation, in a sense. So that's why we are pushing that if each household has a strategic initiative set in place, right? This is what we're going to do. We're, as a team, going to stick to that economically, right? Physiologically, mentally, spiritually, and all of these different things. You will see the collective start to get better and start to prosper in spite of the attacks that are being launched on you as citizens. So that's really what our aim is when we
Yeah.
come and we sit down and we chit chat with it. And we don't bring anything to y'all that we don't sit and do as a family, our absolute selves.
Yes, this is very true.
Right? We work all of these things out. That's why, as y'all can tell, we're not content creators for clout, for clicks, for content. When we have something substantial, when we have vetted the receipts, then we come and we sit down and we hold court. We don't just meet with y'all for the sake of being seen and heard and stuff like that. And I think that's very important as a community, that we can stay true to each other in that sense.
Yeah, so sometimes, we don't really have an exact date when we'll pop on live. Like she said, we spend a lot of time vetting the receipts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a while. Like, okay, we came onto something. Let's see
How
how it
would-
shakes out, and so that we can bring it to people and know that this is true, as far as we put our best foot forward, getting the true information to you. So we try to come around when we can, but we get missing. But making sure that we're putting together the best possible information that we can get out there to you. So
And we are literally coming to y'all in spirit and in truth, right? We're not coming for none of that worldly clout and clicks and likes and all of that other stuff. But talk to your families, help them. A lot of you guys are extremely knowledgeable. I could tell by the comments, the insight that y'all offer. Help whoever you can, come up. Because a lot of times people don't do because they don't know what to do. Right? I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't really, they're embarrassed to tell you at 52 years old, they don't know how to manage a household. Especially families that don't have the help. They don't have that external family help. It's one of the reasons why we are so resourceful, because we don't have no external family help. It's just us, right? So we gotta really figure it out. There's no one to ask or anything like that. But if you guys can be of help or a blessing to family members, don't harp on the family who don't really want the information. Help those who are receptive to the help, and stand by in case somebody who wasn't receptive at first may be receptive now. Cryptonomics says the only problem with gold and silver right now is that, the premiums. I know. We know about the premiums, at least compared to what we used to buy at. Yes, absolutely. Because they have been suppressing the price for so long that they're adding the premiums almost like a weird tax.
yeah. So when you get that, per ounce cost,
Yeah.
it's not really accurate, because the premium on top of the per ounce cost is giving you a more accurate, like, okay, this is really what it is. Especially when you're buying American Silver Eagles, things like that, Canadian Maple Leafs, those premiums get kind of ridiculous.
But sometimes, we just look at each other and say, we're going to pay the luxury tax because it's good for our kids, right? If something happens to us, this is wealth we can hand you right now, no lawyer involved. Right? This is transferred to you right now. You don't have to fight over the pay on demand bank stuff, estates and power of attorneys and stuff like that. It's a super weird tax, but it is a tax. And you got to be in the mood. No, Simon, right? That's him. Right, he's very disciplined. He do it.
I go back, like I said, I talk to people, man, to see, because you can get the things that's a little more, 10 ounces up and stuff like that. Get a lower premium, but when you want to get that, that Silver Eagle that's universally
it's
recognized, and so you like to keep those.
But Miles Franklin, Cryptonomics, just tell them that Aaron and Gordon, that you know us or whatever, you get a discount, and a lot of times that discount will absorb some of that premium. So that might help you if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, and if you check him out, he's on weekly. It's a show. It's called Arcadia Economics. And so Andy Shackman will go on there weekly with the host. His name is Chris Marcus, and he'll give you a weekly deal. And it doesn't have anything to do with us or anything. It's just
a weekly deal, that promotion.
They have on sale, a promotion
to help with that premium, because that premium is annoying to him too, as a distributor, right? So we absolutely understand. But we love y'all so much. We will make sure Chief is on the next show, y'all. And again, we're in that rabbit hole. We're vetting stuff. So I'm hoping that maybe we can be on by next week. But just understand why we're not like other content creators. If you know, you know. If the dollar collapsed, would Silver Eagles still be as popular as they are now? Well, Silver has always
Is
maintained
it
its
Silver Eagles or just
Silver
Silver?
Eagles.
Oh yeah, because are they're the ones that are universally recognizable. I mean, not just them. You know, you got Krugerrands and Philharmonics
Maple
and things
Leaf.
like Maple Leaves and stuff like that. They'll always be the top tier.
Yeah.
They're the top tier. That's why the premium on those are a lot higher. And then you have like the mid tier,
Hmm.
and then you have, some of the stuff we get like the hand poured, and then you get your constitutional. But yes, they will still be in high demand
If
because
not higher, if the
yeah,
dollar collapses. Um, Chase Bank has a lot to do with why
a lot. Yes.
precious metals isn't boosting like they should have a boost like Bitcoin boost, right? The dollar is pushed down, it should automatically push precious metals up. But we
Yeah.
do understand the manipulation of the market, we
Yeah.
understand their agenda, and they're trying to find ways to box people like us out of
Hmm.
wealth transfer.
Yeah.
So, and again, when just going back to the food, if you're not eating properly or you're hungry, you don't think right. Can't be strategic. You can't peep what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why they do the things that they do. But okay, wait, Chief is back, y'all. Let me see if this works. Okay, Chief, I have your volume up, all the way up. Hello? Okay, he said, wait a minute.
And she's right. J.P. Morgan Chase has been indicted on multiple occasions of manipulating the price of precious metals, mostly silver.
They made 3 billion once,
Yeah, and they
and
had
the RICO made them pay 1 billion. So that's good because
they
I
caught
still
a
made 2.
they caught a whole RICO charge, and nobody went to jail.
Yeah.
Nobody served a day.
So,
So, for
and that was
spoofing,
the third time?
that was the second time.
Second time.
They got another one recently.
Recently, yes.
But for spoofing contracts and stuff like that, and which is rehypothecation, making a fake demand so people will pay a higher price when the demand wasn't as high, to removing contracts at the last minute. It's all BS, but they continue to get away with it. They continue to get away with it.
Cryptonomics said that JP Morgan is going to fall in the second quarter of 2024. He's been selling 1 million shares. He knows what's coming. But I will say he's also been very vocal about what's coming.
Mhm.
And he's just doing, in his best interest. Chief,
He's CYA for himself.
can we hear you? No? Can you hear us? Yes, you can hear us. But we can't,
Mhm.
he said he changed his browser. This is on.
We had to mess around with it a little bit.
Yeah, we
before
did
last
have to
time,
mess it
yeah.
around a little bit with it last time. Well, I told him that you're definitely going to be on with us, hopefully next week. And I think maybe if we do it at the start of the show, because I can't for the life of me, he's gone, figure out what's going on with it.
All right.
But we love y'all,
Yeah.
and we'll definitely see y'all next week. Come up with your strategic plan, but in everything, give thanks.
Thanks.
Right? In everything, give thanks that you are in a position of empowerment where you can come up with the plan, where you can, there we go. I think we got audio. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, apparently you can't do this shit. Like you can't turn off the microphone before you start joining the stream and shit. I was trying to turn it off because my daughter playing some music and shit because she baking.
Okay, I gotcha. So now we
Yeah.
know moving forward. But Chief, before we go, did you want to give it was about this economic season and really
Yeah.
tightening your belts and not over consuming.
Yeah. I mean, there's some hard stuff to unlearn. You know what I'm saying? There's some shit that you gotta discipline yourself to do. You know, um, if you gon' I mean, they got, unless you totally out of everything and off the grid and ain't celebrating shit and ain't recognizing their religion and all of that stuff. It's hard because you got family members, you got friends, all of that shit. It's hard to like um get out of the system that is created. Now, as long as you're aware of it, you can navigate through it and do what you want to do and do what you got to do in order to, survive and raise your frequency up to the level to where you'll be good to go with
Right.
yourself and source. But it's hard, man. These mugs make it hard, but the system falling is falling slowly but surely. To the person I was saying that J.P. Morgan was getting ready to go
Selling.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they selling their shares because everything's getting ready to get tokenized. That's what people y'all got to understand, man. These motherfuckers ain't giving up their money like that. They ain't giving up their money. Y'all think that, a lot of people think that when Bitcoin was created, it was down with the banks. And man, they ain't going nowhere. They are not going anywhere. And if y'all think they're going somewhere, you are dead wrong. They are going to pivot. They're going to crash this economy that we got right now. And then when it's all said and done, it'll usually happen like on a Friday or Thursday or Friday, shit'll get bad. Most of the regional banks go down, and then you'll start seeing some big banks. It's gonna be probably less than 10 big banks. All
Mm.
right. It's gonna be less than 10 big banks. JP Morgan Chase ain't going nowhere. Point in fact, down the street from my house, they just built JP Morgan Chase. It's gonna be JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citi, um, US Bank may survive, but all the ones that's messing with these digital assets, they selling. The reason why Warren Buffett and the reason why JP or Jamie Dimon was selling their stocks, is because they getting liquid for when they need to buy that shit back when it get
Yep.
tokenized. Because
Yep.
when this stuff get tokenized, y'all got to think about it. When the stuff get tokenized, um, they gotta repurchase it, and they're
Mm.
gonna repurchase it at a lower price than everybody else because they're gonna scare everybody out the market, except for me. I ain't going nowhere. I got my shit. I got my stuff. I just put the majority of my stuff on my cold wallet last night. But they just trying to scare people out of the crypto market. That's why they took down Binance. They took down
Mm-hmm.
Binance, CZ Binance. They charged him $4 billion. Okay, charged him $4 billion. He ain't going to jail. All right. Let me fix this because dude said I was frozen. I was on AOL. My shit way smoother than yours,
That's
dog. I don't know,
cryptonomics.
but yeah, I know he talking shit. My
He
shit
be
is
cutting up
hard.
when he come on here.
Yeah, yeah. I got jokes too, man. But yeah, y'all gotta understand, man. This stuff is changing because the the reserve currency ain't gonna be the US dollar within 10 to no more than 20 years. It's gonna be a number, it'll probably be multiple reserve currencies. All right. They're gonna start using a basket of stuff in order to do stuff with. They ain't gonna it ain't I'm telling you. Go ahead.
No, that's what they say. Like a lot of the big macro economists say it's gonna be a basket. You listen to people,
Yeah.
Brow Powell and Lynn Alden say it's gonna
Yeah.
be a basket. They just don't know,
What the
particular.
basket's gonna have.
Yeah, how
And it
it's.
ain't gonna and what it is, it's not gonna be just it's not going to be like a paper dollar. It's going to be digital.
Hmm.
Right.
Okay, because it's over 8 billion people in the world, right? And the
Yeah,
majority of the folks that don't have like regular bank accounts and don't do business with banks, what do they have? How do they communicate? They got a phone.
yeah,
It's a reason why you don't see nobody on a flip phone hardly anymore. It's like less than 1% of the population of the world that has a flip phone.
mm,
Everybody, they're gonna start. Watch and see what I tell you. They're gonna start making cheap smartphones and giving them to people. And the reason why they're gonna do that is because you are going to be banked whether you think you are banked or not.
right.
I'm telling you. Because how you going integrate yourself into commerce? They can't see.
Yeah,
How
you're gonna have to have that, and they got their numbers
these mediums right here?
on the unbanked. I think it's getting pretty close, right? The unbanked and the
Yeah.
amount of people who own Bitcoin is right around 26%. And so, you know, even when
26% of what? Shit,
people unbanked.
I'm telling you, man, it ain't 26% of people across the world that own Bitcoin or even a small amount.
No, I'm
It's
talking
less.
about United States. They're saying 20.
Oh,
It's getting about to be parity as the amount of
oh,
people
okay.
who actually own Bitcoin and actually people who are unbanked.
Oh, I got you. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So people got to figure out how to get banked. You know, and that's a good way, just handing out free smartphones.
Then they're gonna figure that shit out for you.
Yeah,
You
they are.
they ain't gonna leave it, they're not gonna leave it in your hands. The average everyday person that don't talk like we talk, that don't think like we think, that just go about their life, they are not gonna leave anything to happenstance for them folks at
Oh,
all.
do you see? This is the third article I seen this week. I didn't even bring it in here today, but they're just like shutting down people's account at Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
get the
they
money and stuff.
yeah, they well, nah man, what could happen as well. There's a lot of people don't understand that the Dodd-Frank Act, when they wrote the Dodd-Frank Act, they said in the actual legislation that, you know, instead of the government paying banks back or making banks whole or solvent, there's going to be a thing called a bail-in. The FDIC had last year, they had a meeting about it, and it was a hush-hush closed door meeting, but it got leaked. And they was like, man, if people find out about this, it's gonna be riots in the street. But
Mm.
some people may get their cheese taken. You know, I mean, it could be like that. You know, it's rough. They don't care. Oh, y'all kind of fading.
So
What you say? He's ready. I know.
Okay, y'all. Sorry about that. Y'all know we got the
All right.
Mexican internet.
I know, man. I was like, what happened? Shit.
We got
Shit.
AOL.
Yeah. Tell him
But
don't be
before
clowning
we
about that
wrap it
either.
up, we're gonna definitely be on next week. Chief will be joining us for sure.
mhm.
We want to remind you guys in everything, give thanks and praise this holiday, and we'll be seeing y'all next week.